Hold on, we're missing a bass player.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Yay. And Happy New Year. It is 2022, and welcome to Unity Naperville, our first service of the new year. And I'm just thrilled to be here with you this morning. I'm Michael Speer, and I'm your presiding minister and the service leader this morning as well. So kind of a one-man show, if you will, along with our wonderful music team, Kim Char and Highest Good, and Carol and some of the other people, and all the support team here this morning, and our participants here. So we're going to start off this morning with a meditation. And for the meditation, our Reformation Prayer, what I'm going to read to you is our affirmation for the day from Unity. This is from the Daily Word for January, so this might be for some of you the first time you're hearing it of this year, and what a good way to start the year off. So just take these words in as you're speaking them in the first person for yourself as I read them. I joyfully create the new year, the year anew. I joyfully create this year anew. I greet this day feeling grateful as I begin another year. It is stretched out before me like a blank canvas, inviting my unique designs and bright colors. I use my zeal and imagination to dream big dreams and make bold plans. I release the past, taking from it precious memories and invaluable experience. Even the experiences that were not especially happy have helped me to be where I am today. I feel confident and self-assured knowing that I go forth into the new year with God expressing as my creativity, my audacity, my kindness, and my compassion. My receptive, eager attitude for the coming year opens my heart to all joy I am about to create. I smile and I let the wonder in. And so it is. Amen.
Michael, thank you for opening with that beautiful word. That is the way to launch into the new year, to joyfully create. Are we ready to let the joy rise among us? Are we? Let's sing this together. Let the joy of the Lord rise among us. Let the joy of the Lord rise among us. Let the praises that we sing rise among us. Let it rise. Let the light of the Lord rise among us. Let the light of the Lord rise among us. Let it shine from within and rise among us. Let it rise. actually start every day this year that way. Right? And may I be open to the signs. May you be open to the signs in your life. I loved it. I loved it when we sang, "Let the light of the Lord rise among us." I don't know if you noticed it out there, but in this room, all the lights went up at the same time. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
It's like Spirit confirming, that's it. That's it. Oh, and it's all right and it's perfect. We are part of that light, part of that ocean, yes? Oh. I invite you to sing along. The words will be right on the screen for you. I am not a drop
In the ocean, I am all the ocean in a drop.
I am not a drop
In the ocean,
I am all the ocean in a drop. And God and I are one. This drop is the ocean. Yes. Let's sing that again. I am not a drop
in the ocean,
I am all the oceans in a drop. I am not a drop in the ocean. I am all the ocean in a drop. And God and I are one. This drop is the ocean. Oh, 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 ocean. Oh, 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 oh. This drop is the ocean. Are you moving with the water? I am not a drop in the ocean. I am all the ocean in a drop. I am not a drop in the ocean. I am all the ocean in a drop. And God and I are one. This drop is the ocean. Here we go. Oh, 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 ocean. Oh, 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 this drop is the ocean. Oh, 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 ocean. Oh, 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 this drop is the ocean. Yes.
Whew. Wow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That was wonderful. Thank you. Okay, are we live yet? There we go. Okay, good morning again, everyone. Welcome back. I'm here. And we are now going to just do an additional opening prayer, and then we're going to do our opening prayer invocation. So I'd like to just invite you to join with me as my own personal prayer for the new year, for myself and for all of us, and for this entire planet, to know right now that this year of 2022 is the best year, the very best year ever, because I know and accept right now that there is only one power in this universe, one intelligence, God. And this intelligence is everywhere present. It's expressing itself through each and every one of us fully and completely in each and every way. I am absolutely blessed, and I know that we each take this I am for ourselves. I am absolutely blessed to be an expression of this one power, this one mind, this one intelligence that knows how to have a perfect expression through and as me. And it's given me all I need have a wonderful expression of life, radiant health in my body and form, abundant prosperity, so I know that everything I need is provided for, magnificent creative expression, work that totally fulfills me and uplifts me in whatever I do, and beautiful, magnificent relationships with everyone in my world. So I accept and know today as a good day and that this is a great year, a great 2022. And I've planted this seed this morning just as we've all done. And I know that when we do this, God has already said yes. So I give thanks. I say thank you, God. Thank you, Spirit, for this good day and for this beautiful new year and for the good that's already moving through each of us and through this entire planet. I know a peaceful, loving planet, and I am a part of it. Thank you, God. I let go. I let God. And so it is. Together we say, Amen. And if you'd like to join with me in our invocation, please, let's read this together. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, the all-loving goodness of God.
Thank you, Michael.
Ceiling to floor, breath of life move through me. You are all that I am longing for. Breathe in, breathe out.
Thank you, Kim. Thank you, Highest Good. That song was written by Kim Char, and let's just give the band extra applause this morning. What a great blessing it is to be here this morning. You feel just more open, able to breathe easier when you heard that song. Did you feel that? Just breathing in, breathing out, Lang's Spirit move through us. If we did nothing more this morning, but just sat with that, we'd be fine, right? How about if we just did that every morning this year and throughout the day? In the moments that we feel any so-called stress, anything that seems to get in the way of feeling that attachment, that connection with Spirit. Thank you. What a great blessing. So again, I'm Michael Speer, and it's just an absolute honor to be here on the first Sunday of the new year. What a great gift. Our wonderful Reverend Kitty is off doing her own start of the new year, her own celebration for the new year, and it's just a great gift when that happens, that we can all come together nonetheless, all of us. And I want to acknowledge you, those of you who braved the snow this morning, and those of you who are online, because for all of us, we showed up this morning. That's the important part. We all showed up this morning to start the new year in a spiritual way, to be connected with Spirit, to just acknowledge some different things rather than just sleeping in, which we all could have done. We're all up and listening to these words and these ideas and these thoughts like we do on so many Sundays here at Unity of Naperville. I've been studying these teachings for over 30 years, along with my wife, Reverend Mary Beth Speer, who many of you know. And, we've been very blessed in our spiritual path together, which has been about 26 years now, and we had a couple of ministries ourselves, and we're just thrilled to be a part of this wonderful congregation here at Unity Naperville. What we receive here are what I like to say is spiritual tools. We come here, we get spiritual tools to help us create a greater experience of life for ourselves, and in doing that, we're creating a greater expression of life for everyone around us, for our families, our friends, our community, and this entire planet. Put that in perspective as you start this year, that the work you're doing here today, and when I say work, I mean the loving work, the intentions that you're setting today, the thoughts you're having today are putting into the universe something that's blessing this entire planet. Each one of us individually and collectively, we intensify that. We bring out even a greater message to this planet to get us to what we call a tipping point, where we have greater peace, love, prosperity, health, abundance on this planet, all those things, harmony. It's interesting for me to think, it was interesting this week to think of the fact, and I had forgotten about, that I actually did this service last year, the first Sunday of the month. And I had totally forgotten about that, so I went back and looked at what did I talk about last year, and where was I last year, and where were we last year? And what I said last year at the opening of my talk was that for many of us, leaving 2020 behind feels like a blessing. Leaving 2020 behind feels like a blessing. And here we are in 2021. I also mentioned at that time that many people back then were signing notes that let's have a better 2021. That's interesting because, if you think back to it, many of us did have a better 2021, yet we had an expectation, didn't we? Many of us, I'll say I did, a lot of people around the planet did, that 2021 was going to be an opening. We had gone through so much strangeness in 2020. If you remember, March of 2020 was when the COVID virus started really impacting us. People started getting ill, things started shutting down. It was a whole strange new world at that time. And we thought, well, this time last year, well, good, we're coming out of this by this time next year, meaning today, things will be back to normal, right? That's what many of us were thinking. As the year unfolded, though, we realized that the reality, as we once knew it, that once upon a time reality that we had experienced, still wasn't coming back the way we expected it was. And today what we do is we live in a new normal, so to say. It's a new normal that we're adjusting to. I have to say that we're adjusting to. Some of us might be having an easier time adjusting, others not so much. Everyone taking their own steps in their own way, and I know I've been doing that, and Mary Beth's been doing it. We had an interesting new normal this week, actually. The last 10 days or so, we were watching, actually living with our grandkids, our 4-year-old granddaughter and our 7-year-old grandson. For the first time, we've had them at our house overnight before, but we never had them full-time where we were full-time mom and dad. So what I can say to that is it's so good to be here in a room full of adults. And they are back with their dad today, and we're just thrilled about this. It's everything's coming together in wonderful ways, but it's adjustments. Things are changing all the time. What is normal? Not sure I know what normal is anymore, but I can say this: things are ever changing. Things are always changing in life. And sometimes that causes discomfort. I mean, the only people I always say that like change are wet babies. And I could say that literally after watching our kids this week. Things are always changing. And there's appearances out there. Appearances, conditions, the world going on around us that swirls around us. We sit here on Sunday mornings, we sit here throughout the week, we read these spiritual ideas, we listen to spiritual teachings, and we know that we're one with Spirit. We believe these truths. Yet, Spirit is expressing all the time as on this plane that we live in, as conditions and appearances, so to say. And why they don't have permanence to them, we don't deny them. They are happening. Things are happening on this world. We can't deny that for a second. But what we do as metaphysicians, and I use that word metaphysician, a metaphysician is someone who sees beyond the 5 senses, who's able to see beyond the appearances, beyond the conditions going on in our life. Metaphysicians, anyone in New Thought, unity is a part of something called New Thought, which encompasses unity, divine science, religious science. I myself am a religious science minister. But we all teach these same ideas, that while we are we're really human beings having a spiritual, let me start that over. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. I got that right this time. It means that really we're one with Spirit, and yet we express here on the physical plane. So the tools that we get here at Unity and in other teachings like this are to learn how to work with this physical plane, but still knowing, acknowledging that we are spiritual, we are spirit in form. We're all surrounded by a field of infinite potential and possibility, every one of us. And Spirit created us as individualized expressions of itself to express those infinite possibilities. That's why it was said in the Bible, God created us in its own likeness and image. And what that means is that with all the qualities of God, of life, of love, of power, peace, beauty, joy, health, and prosperity, all these and more, all these qualities that God is, I am. All the qualities that God is, you are. I am that I am. I am that I am. I am all that God is. And as an expression of Spirit, we were given the power, the ability, the gift to name our experiences. We can name and proclaim how we desire our experience of life to look. We do that through our thoughts and beliefs about life. We do it through our knowingness about life. We have the power within us to transform the experiences going on in our life. Every one of us has that power and ability. And that's why Mary Beth and I often say these words. Because I'm not moved by appearances, appearances move for me. Let's say that together. Because I'm not moved by appearances, appearances move for me. That's the key right there. That's the secret right there, if you will, of knowing how to move through any experience in your life. That we have the ability to proclaim how we want this to transform into something greater for ourselves, whatever the experience is. Because, got news for you, we're always going to be having experiences going on around us. And that's just how it is. That's how life works. So when I was thinking about this talk, knowing that today was January 2nd, going into the new year, a few weeks ago, what came into my mind was the song, Old Lang Syne. Old Lang Syne. It just popped into my mind for some reason. And I started thinking about that song, and I never really understood it. And there's always jokes about that. What does that song mean anyways? I remember in Harry Met Sally, there was a joke at the end of that. I don't know what that song really means. We normally just sing the first two verses of it, and I'm going to share those words with you. And there's other verses, and it's a Scottish song that was actually penned in 1788, I believe. And then that was the original penning of that song. And if you read the other verses actually in a Scottish version, assuming you could read Scottish, or they wouldn't make much sense, except for the fact that I always believed it was about old relationships in our life, and letting them go or embracing them, and then drinking to it, because it's sort of a drinking song. So that's somehow or another, it kind of got hooked to New Year for that reason, and people took that very seriously, right? I'd like to read the first two verses to you. And by the way, the other way this was made famous is It's a Wonderful Life. This song was, of course, sang at the end of that movie, and we hear that movie continuously. Most of us grew up with it. These are the first two verses of Old Lang Syne. Should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? Should old acquaintance be forgot and days of Old Lang Syne? For Auld Lang Syne, my dear, for Auld Lang Syne, we'll take a cup of kindness yet for days of Auld Lang Syne. Kim is waiting for me to start singing this, I know. I thought about it, but I chose to Speer you this morning. So, as I started thinking about this, I wanted to know more about it. What does this mean? Because as a metaphysician, someone who practices these principles and teachings, I'm always looking to interpret things, and that's pretty widespread, if you will, among people, and many of you probably have done the same thing. If you've ever studied Metaphysical Bible, anyone in here ever studied Metaphysical Bible? And that's what they do in Unity. The Fillmores, Charles and Myrtle Fillmore, put a heavy emphasis on interpreting, doing a metaphysical interpretation of the Bible. What does that mean? It means going beyond the literal interpretation of what you're seeing on the surface, which often is how the Bible is read. But there's something else, a deeper meaning hidden within these words. And so Unity has a metaphysical Bible dictionary and many other teachings too. We have, many teachers of these New Thought teachings have done metaphysical interpretations, but we do it on other books and other readings too. We're always delving to know more, and I think that's why you're all here this morning too. You want to know more, right? You want to understand what is this thing called life about, and beyond that, how can I use these ideas about having a greater experience of life? And I know Reverend Kitty often on Sundays will talk about these ideas. So I looked at that phrase, Auld Lang Syne, and it actually translates on a literal basis to old long since, old O-L-D, long since in English. And it means something essentially akin to times long gone by. So on the surface, again, it sounds like I'm supposed to forget about old acquaintances. The question I then had is, who are my old acquaintances? What are we talking about here? Who are the old acquaintances I'm supposed to let go of? because I always thought I'm supposed to embrace old acquaintances. I certainly embrace my new ones, less during COVID times, of course, but we're not embracing many acquaintances nowadays. So I went to my closest acquaintances. Who are my closest acquaintances? And what I realized is that we all share the closest acquaintances. We actually do. They're very intimate to us. They've been with us as long as we can remember, and even beyond that, and they continue to follow us everywhere we go. It's our thoughts and beliefs. What could possibly be closer and nearer to you than your thoughts and beliefs about life? You carry them with you everywhere you go. I carry mine from the day I've been born. A lot of them I can't remember, but they're there. I carry them today. You and I are just always thinking. We're always thinking. Anyone here not always thinking? Now, maybe when you're meditating, you may not be consciously thinking. But essentially, we're always thinking. And for years, I always thought, and I believed, that we had something along the lines of about 60,000 thoughts a day. I always heard that number, 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day. I never knew who counted them. But I did some more research, and I discovered there actually was a research study, a recent one done in 2020, where they discovered, actually they assessed, if you will, or they determined that the average person has about 6,600 thoughts per day, 6,600 thoughts per day. Now, that's still a lot of thoughts, and in either case, however many thoughts we have, it's a lot. We're always thinking. Think about this. Since the time I've been speaking, you've probably already had dozens of thoughts, maybe hundreds. You probably have reflected on some of the ideas that we presented. You thought about the music that you heard this morning. You might have been thinking about New Year's. You're thinking about perhaps what you're going to do after church today. You're thinking about what you're going to eat after church today. You're thinking about what you had for breakfast. You might be thinking about things that went on in your family, or concerns you have, or you're thinking about your dog or cat or whatever else. Perhaps your groceries list, or how you're going to return the Christmas gifts you got from your distant aunt who you haven't seen in 20 years. All these things, it is like that. They go through our mind, sometimes in a crazy manner, right? The Buddhists even have a term for this. They call it monkey mind. I love that descriptive word because monkeys kind of go back and forth. They flip all the way, and you go from doubt to fear to worry to happy to joyful, back and forth. It's sort of like a faucet that never stops dripping. Thoughts are always going through our minds and moving through them. And some of them are emotional. Some of them are repetitive. They keep coming back, the same type of thought and belief. Whatever they are, they're constantly here. The emotional-based ones and the deeply embedded ones tend to show up quite a bit. I thought I had a good example of this. I experienced it a little bit on my way over to the church this morning, actually. And for me, if I get tailgated, that kind of pushes my buttons. I start feeling angry and judgmental. And I start feeling like my good is being infringed upon. Someone's getting in the way of my good. What are they doing on my tail? There's no real truth to that, though. The person in the other car doesn't know who I am. They probably don't care who I am. They're just driving the way they're driving. They're trying to get where they're trying to get to. They're doing life the way they do life. It has nothing to do with me. It all has to do with me, what's going on within me, though, those feelings that are popping up. Or perhaps someone makes you feel insulted. And when I say makes you, they're not really doing it to you, but perhaps you feel insulted by something someone says to you. I've had that happen to me, and I take it personally. Well, the truth is, it has nothing to do most of the time with anything outside of what's going on in me. They probably didn't mean to insult me. They're just being who they are. The truth about thoughts are, thoughts unto themselves are neither good nor bad. We judge them as being good or bad, but thoughts are just thoughts. However, and here's the important thing, that all thoughts are creative. Every single thought that we have is creative because that's how Spirit moves through us and creates. We create on this plane the way Spirit creates on the universal. That's that gift I talked about that we've been given. Through our thoughts and beliefs, we create our experience of life. And if you want to know what you're thinking about something in life, what your true beliefs about something are, take a look at what your experiences are, because that's what we call the law of cause and effect. What I think about, I bring about. That's how life works. There's a Native American parable that many of you may have heard. It's called The Story of Two Wolves. And it's an old Cherokee man is teaching his grandson about life. He says this, "A terrible fight is going on inside of me. It is a terrible fight between two wolves. One is evil. He is anger, envy, sorrow, regret, greed, arrogance, self-pity, guilt, resentment, inferiority, lies, false pride, superiority, and ego. The other wolf is good. He is joy, peace, love, hope, serenity, humility, kindness, benevolence, empathy, generosity, truth, compassion, and faith. The same fight is going on inside of you," he says to the young boy, "and inside every other person too, the fight between the good wolf and the bad wolf." So this young boy thinks about this for a moment, and he looks up at his grandfather and he says, "Which wolf will win?" And the old man says to the boy, "The one you feed." I get to choose which thoughts I feed. We all do. Remember, we have this never-ending stream of thoughts. Some of them seem crazy sometimes. A lot of them we just let go of. They flitter by. They don't hook onto us. But it's sort of like when you have an ember. If you sit around a campfire, an ember falls on you, you just flick it off. And some of them stay. As expressions of Spirit, though, you and I are creating our individualized expressions of life through these thoughts and beliefs, the ones we're carrying around. We're using the intelligence of the universe through our thinking to create, whether we know we're doing it or not. And we do this all the time and have been doing it since the time we were born through our closest acquaintances, our thoughts. Our closest acquaintances are always with us. They're right here, as near as my breath, as close as my heartbeat. My thoughts and beliefs are right here. Dr. Ernest Holmes, the founder of religious science, said this, "In our ignorance of the truth, we have misused the highest power we possess. And so great is this power, so complete is our freedom in it, so complete the domain of law through it, that the misuse of this power has brought upon us the very conditions from which we suffer." And I'll add to that, the very conditions from which we also live in joy and peace. All those things have been brought upon us without us even necessarily knowing it. We are bound because we are first free. The very power which appears to bind us is the only power which can set us free. He continues to say that when your consciousness speaks, the law receives and executes. That law of cause and effect I talked about before. When a farmer plants a seed, he invokes that law. That which follows is done by the mechanical side of nature, which no one has volition over. That's Spirit's work. We don't even know how that happens, but it happens. The great master teacher Jesus said it this way, "It is done unto you as you believe." He was talking about the same thing. That was the message he was trying to give us. It's kind of like, wake up, pay attention to what you're thinking about because you're bringing it about right now. And no one knows the way why this law works the way it does. It's just like when you use crayons, or colors or paints. If you mix blue and yellow, what are you going to get? You're going to get green. Quite honestly, no one really knows why that happens. We can analyze it and figure out what's happening, but why is it that way? Why is it that a cut on our finger heals? What is the power behind it, the intelligence behind it that causes things to happen? And perhaps we don't know what that is, but what we can know for sure is that there is a master intelligence, an infinite knowingness behind all this, guiding, leading, and creating all these great things. And the other thing we can do is we can learn how to use these laws and how to work with them. And in doing that, we're no longer bound. We're not trapped, a victim of appearances around us. I'm not a victim to COVID that's going on right now. I'm not a victim to things going on in the economy. I'm not a victim to supply chain shortages. I'm not a victim to other things going on in my family and relationships or financial challenges and all that. We're not, because each of us are given the power to name and create our experience, to transform our experience into exactly the way we want our life to look. My old acquaintances, deeply held thoughts and beliefs are continuing to create my expression of life today. And they'll do so tomorrow. That's the law of cause and effect in action. And I have to choose which of those old acquaintances, which of those thoughts and beliefs that I'm carrying around, whether I know where they came from or not, doesn't really matter, which of those do I choose to keep carrying along with me, to dragging with me. The first verse of Auld Lang Syne ends with a question mark, and that was interesting. I never really realized that when we sing the song, but the actual literal version of it has a question mark at the end. Should all acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? Should all acquaintance be forgot and days of Auld Lang Syne? With a question mark on the end. So we're not saying we have to do anything. We're saying what? That we have choice. We have choice in what we want to experience, what we want to forget. Which of these old acquaintances do we want to leave behind? Which of these old experiences do you choose to bring with you? These old thoughts and beliefs do you choose to bring with you? What's serving you? If you want to know how it's showing up, these old acquaintances, how they're showing up in your life, look at your experience. Do I like it? Do I not like it? I was a little bit more gentle this morning, admittedly, when an individual was tailgating me on my way to church because I had already written these words. I said, oh, maybe I should practice what I'm talking about today. But that's the work. Constantly reminding ourselves. That's why we show up on Sunday mornings. That's why we study these teachings, to remind ourselves of these truths. We get to choose. We can actually choose what we're thinking and believing. The moment you become aware of these ideas, of this truth, that you have choice in your life to choose what you're believing about life, about your life, and about the life of others, you get into the driver's seat. We call this the ABCs of consciousness, meaning awareness builds consciousness. ABC, awareness builds consciousness. And that's the starting point. We had a member of our first congregation back in California who used to say to us that the moment I become aware of what I'm believing about something in my life that's not working, it's dust. The moment I become aware, I can deal with it, and I no longer have to carry that around with me. When you're willing to take a step, when you're willing to make that choice, to let go of these old thoughts and beliefs, these old acquaintances that no longer serve you, that's when you'll take a cup of kindness yet. The cup of kindness yet is you being kind to yourself, of me being kind to myself and saying, I'm going to make a choice here. I'm going to change something. What I'm going to change is I'm going to let go and let God. I'm going to have a better way of looking at life. This is beyond simple New Year resolutions. I know in the past I've talked about things like that probably, New Year resolutions, maybe spiritual resolutions, and those are all good. But how about resolving to really take a close look at what are my old acquaintances and how are they showing up for me? Which ones am I willing to let go of? Just willing. All you have to do is to be willing, because Spirit knows a willing heart. And Spirit will lead you, guide you, and direct you every step of the way to do what you need to do to let go of these things. And I'll add to this that once you let go, the universe abhors a vacuum and rushes in to fill it. So it's not enough even just to let go. That's a starting point, and it's a good starting point to have that awareness and to let go, but then fill it with what it is you desire. I know what I don't desire to experience in my life, but here is what I want to experience. And we do that in unity through affirmations, and we do it through prayer. And this opens a door for you now, because you've cleared out and made a space for something greater in your life. You've opened up a door to let something new come in. Fill that with love and peace, knowingness of prosperity, of radiant health, all those things. And do it every day. Do it as much as you can. Do it daily. I do treatment and every morning, prayer work. We call it spiritual mind treatment, but I do prayer every morning. Pray for myself throughout the day. I pray for others on a regular basis. That opens up a new door for you. It's a powerful tool. Affirmations are powerful tools. So perhaps it's time for some new acquaintances, to change your thinking, to change your life. So I want to wish you all a joyful, loving, healthy, happy, prosperous new year. And I'm going to invite you now just to join with me in meditation, for a brief meditation, to take these ideas in. And you may wish to close your eyes or just stay peaceful and however you feel comfortable of knowing right now, knowing these truths, knowing these ideas, and taking them into your heart, that the one power, the one presence God, truly is expressing as good through me today. And as I know that in the first person for myself, know it in the first person for yourself. That this loving presence has already created everything I need today for a perfect expression of life. I take these ideas and tools that I've heard here today and that I've pondered upon, that I've thought upon, and I use them for my good and for the good of those around me. I know that there is a spiritual intelligence, a knowingness, a divine power of good that surrounds me, fills me, infuses me, and uplifts me in every way. And this intelligence is an intelligence, a power of good. I see it, I know it, I accept it. This good moves through every part of my being, and I am open and receptive to it. I am open and receptive to it. And I know I am led, guided, and directed by the Divine One, the one power, the one presence God, Spirit, the Christ consciousness, whatever name I call it. I am led, guided, and directed to have a wonderful expression of good through me. Today I feel blessed in this new year. I feel enriched, enhanced. I'm ready. I'm ready to go into this new year with a brand new view on life, a greater view, a greater knowingness. I'm ready to receive the blessings of Spirit, and I'm ready to guide Spirit in ways that work for me. I'm ready and willing to release. I'm willing and ready to release. to let go and let God. And as I do this, I know wonderful good is filling up every part of my being and my experience. I am truly, truly blessed in this. So I say thank you, God, for this good. Thank you for the blessings of this day and for all the good that unfolds in every way through my life, through the life of my family, my friends, and this entire planet. I see a peaceful, loving world right here and now, and I give thanks for releasing this into divine mind right now by saying, and so it is. Well, I'm wearing many hats today, and as your pulpit leader, I'm putting that hat back on now. Doesn't look like a hat. You can't see under all this hair, right? But it's now our wonderful, wonderful pleasure and opportunity to go into a place of giving, to do our offering today. And to those of you who are out, and let's see, we have up on the screen now, we have, for those of you who are out in video land who are watching this, we have up on the screen ways that you can donate. You can go on our website, you can follow instructions. You can, of course, use snail mail and send in checks, as always. And you can use credit cards, all sorts of different things. So I just want to give thank you for the great support that you give to this ministry. It's always an honor for us to support this ministry because I know wonderful good takes place here, and what a great gift that is. So we're going to do our offering invocation right now. And I'm going to just invite you to join with me in these words. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am grateful. Amen. Okay, Steve, if you want to go around. Thank you.
Reverend Michael, thank you so much. Parker, you can turn my effects off for just a second. And I hate to do this to the AV team, but we're not going to go to the song that we had planned. Honestly, we're going to go back to the song we had just finished prior to you speaking. And if I may share just a little bit, I remember, Michael, when I wrote that song, I had gone through a couple of months of just feeling such deep pain. And my thoughts were just troubling me so much. A friend of mine had, a couple of months prior, taken their own life. And I was just, you know how that goes. What could I have done? What should I have done? And all these thoughts were just right there. And I remember sitting down finally at one point saying, this has got to change. This has got to change. It's causing so much pain. And I remember just going, yeah. I open the windows. I open the door. Breath of life, carry away all that does not serve me anymore. And I knew that Spirit then comes into the space that we create. And I extended that invitation. Just sweep through this house, from ceiling to floor. Breath of life, move through me. You are all that I am longing for. And I tend to think of this song as just what you've been sharing about. those thoughts, creating space, breathing in all the good. Breathe in, breathe out, release, allow, breathe in, breathe in, oh, breathe out, breathe out, release those thoughts, release, allow, allow, I open the windows, I open the door, breath of life, carry away all that does not serve me anymore. Sweep through this house, from ceiling to floor. Breath of life, move through me. You are all that I am longing for. Let's create that space. Oh, I open the windows, I open the door. Breath of life, carry away all that does not serve me anymore. Sweep through this house, from ceiling to floor. Breath of life, move through me. You are all that I am longing for. Breath of life, move through me. You are all that I am longing for.
Good morning. I'm Carol. I'm here to share the announcements. So if you're joining us for the first time, we send out a weekly e-blast every Tuesday. And in order to stay in touch with us and to hear about all the wonderful things that happen here, you can sign up by going to unityinnaperville.org, or you can email admin@unityinnaperville.org. And now for what's happening at Unity. We have two board of trustees here today. Would you like to stand and let everybody know who you are?
Yeah, three of them.
Oh, three. Yay. Hi, Susan. Everybody showed up a little later with the snow we have today. So if you would like to know more about what's happening here, they're always available to speak. Oh, and me. It must be me. And we're available outside to speak with you and answer any questions and just to talk. We're there. So the online community team is looking for people to occasionally help host a 30-minute after-service Zoom chat. You'd be part of a team. Instructions would be provided, so you're not on your own. And you can do this from home, or you can use the classroom here. So to learn more about this, email admin@unityinnaperville.org, or you can sign up in the front room. We have sign-up sheets there. So due to the snow, our deadline for our styrofoam has been extended to next Sunday, so feel free to bring it in next Sunday. And if it's been in contact with food, please do wash it thoroughly, and we are not taking foam insulation. If you can help deliver the styrofoam to Dart in Aurora after church tomorrow, next Sunday on January 9th, please contact admin@unityinnaperville.org, and we appreciate your help. So start the new year with new energy. I'm very excited about this. I'm going to tune in on this one. Join Energy of Spirit on Zoom Tuesday, January 4th at 7 p.m. Have fun and learn easy, non-strenuous techniques to improve your overall energy, hormone and metabolic functions, your mental clarity, I need that, sleep, and mood. For details, see our event calendar at unityinnaperville.org. And if you have a January birthday, we would like to see your cute faces up here on the screen and wish you a happy birthday. So you can send your picture and your birth date to admin@unityinnaperville.org by this Thursday, and we'll sing you happy birthday next Sunday. And starting Monday, January 10th, 10:30 to noon, join the Monday Morning Metaphysics, a weekly Zoom book study centering on New Thought books led by Rev. Mary Beth Speer. The first book is The Power of Decision by Raymond Charles Barker. And for information on where to purchase the book and how to join the Zoom call, see the event calendar. And we are making some progress to some sort of normalcy. The Crafter Circle will begin meeting in the building again on the second and the fourth Fridays at 6:30, starting January 14th. For more information, email our one and only Melody at admin@unityinnaperville.org. The prayer chaplains are available to pray with you in the meditation room after the service, or you can email your name and phone number to prayer@unityinnaperville.org, and our prayer chaplain will call you today by 1 p.m. For details on all of our events, go to www.unityinnaperville.org. And as your prayer chaplain, I wanted to say that I hold you all in deep prayer always, and especially now. And what a wonderful, wonderful message we received today. Wow. May we always, always feed the good wolf. And I hold that closely to my heart as we go forward into the new year and feed the good wolf.
Yes. Thank you, Carol. And thank you so much. I have one more announcement. You see the slide up there. You know, the 12 Powers Club officially ended December 31st. No, it did not. You know what we're going to do? We dropped all this incredible material over the span of 6 months pertaining to our 12 powers or abilities, God-given abilities within us. And that stays up. And you can still go ahead and join and check out everything at your leisure over the next 6 months, because we're keeping the website up. And do know that as you go and you share, that part of that is a donation to Unity in Naperville. So it's kind of a fundraiser too, and a way to bless your heart continually, day by day, should you choose to use it in that way. Thank you, everybody.
Our closing affirmation for today is just an affirmation for this new year, that I know today that this year is the best year ever, filled with love, prosperity, peace, and good for me, for this entire planet, and all those around me. Thank you, God, and so it is. Thank you all. Have a beautiful, beautiful 2022, and thank you for being with us today at Unity Naperville. God bless.
Thank you. Now I invite you, if you're in the room, to stand as you're able. With us at home, sing. You can stand too. I'm not going to stop you. Kevin, give us a start. peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be with God as creator. Family, all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Oh, let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Thank you all. Blessings.